Hello, I'm Frances from Homestead, and I'm making sweet potato slips. No, this is not one of my cooking shows. Sweet potato slips are just the sprouts from the sweet potatoes that you can propagate and then plant your sweet potato plants to be able to grow sweet potatoes. Now, I purchased some organic sweet potatoes from the local grocery store. I looked in some seed catalogs and their sweet potato slips or starts are pretty high up there. However, this was a very minimal cost, and using organic sweet potatoes makes it possible to just make my own. So that's what I'm going to do today. Now, I've never grown sweet potatoes before. I always thought that you had to live in the South, where it was a much warmer climate. I've always lived in the West, and mostly the northern West, and so have not tried sweet potatoes before. But last summer, I watched some YouTube videos of people who lived in New England, the Northeast, and they grew sweet potatoes. So I was like, wow, if they can do it, I should be able to do it over here in Washington. So I'm going to give it a try. But the first thing I need to do is start these sweet potato slips because they're supposed to take several weeks, and they do have a long growing season. I have 111 growing days in my area, according to the USDA first and last frost dates. So my hope is that I have enough time to be able to grow these sweet potatoes. But I need to start the slips. I can't just plant them in the ground in chunks like I do russets or something. They need to have sprouts already started, and that takes quite a while. So I'm going to get them started today. Now, I have in here a mixture of the potting soil that I used to start my seeds last spring, as well as what was left over of the compost I used in my grow boxes. So I've mixed it all together, and it's of course very dry because it's been sitting for months. So I've moistened it, and now I'm just going to put a layer in a container that I'm going to grow my sweet potato slips in. Okay, and now I just need to put the sweet potatoes in. These are beautiful baking size sweet potatoes. I sure hope they grow lots like this. And I'm going to just set them in and kind of sink them down in the dirt. They're going to grow some roots too, so I want to encourage the root growth too. So I'm just going to set them in a little bit there. There's still some soil underneath them, so they can sprout roots. And then I'm just going to cover them up just slightly, just to leave a little bit of potato there, but not too much. Okay, and there we have the starting of some sweet potato slips. Now, I need to keep these really warm because they need warm soil to start. So I'm going to be putting them right in front of my sliding glass doors on the south side of the house, right next to where I have all my herbs that I had dug up last fall and have been using over the winter inside the house. Now, last fall, I started the ground where I wanted to put in my sweet potatoes. I first got a pickup load of some steer manure from the local stockyard, and it was very fresh. And so we dumped that on the area where I want to plant my sweet potatoes because, of course, it's all sand and it needed amending. So we spread that out as best we could. and then I rototilled it all in. And I just rototilled the whole area. And then I've been spreading wood chips on top. Now, unfortunately, we ran out of underbrush that we were chipping. And by the time we got more sagebrush and so on, it got too cold and the wood chipper didn't want to start in the cold. So we got some special oil that was supposed to help it start in colder temperatures, but then the piles of sagebrush are all wet because of the snow and rain through the winter. So I haven't been able to get all the wood chips on the area yet, but it's about half covered. I also took out a brick wall that was bordering the area that I want to plant the sweet potatoes. And we're going to put up some chain link fence on those posts and use the cinder block that we took off there and replace the retaining wall that we put up last spring. That's a whole nother episode. Fortunately, the snow's melted and we're going to have a good week of no rain. So I'm going to be able to get some more things done this week, hopefully. We still have freezing nights, but the days are getting up in the 40s. So that's a big plus. I can tolerate getting outside when it's in the 40s. It's not so terrible, especially in the afternoon. So I'm really looking forward to trying sweet potatoes this year. I sure hope they turn out. But if not, I'll have some beautiful soil for the next thing I try in that area. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I'm so grateful for you. Until we meet again.